And we are going to be evaluating algebraic expressions. If you feel like you've seen this before, the answer is you have. We actually did a little mini assignment on this stuff, and you did it, and I collected it and I marked it. You may not remember it, but we're actually revisiting the topic because now we're going to do slightly harder questions. So the little dog is saying, first simplify, then substitute values. That is the most important thing to remember when we're doing these questions. We're going to do 3 examples, and actually the 3 examples should help you prepare for the quiz you're about to write as well. So first, what we're going to look at is evaluate blah, 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 if x is equal to -1 and y is equal to 2. These questions differ from the ones we did previously because now we actually have proper values for x and y. So when we get a final answer, are we going to get an answer with x and y in it, or are we going to get an actual numerical answer? We're actually going to get a numerical answer. Okay. So what's our very first step? Our first step is going to be to solve this. So we're not going to substitute or anything. Our first step, sorry, is going to be to simplify. How do we simplify something? Well, we use our rules that we've been working on. So I'll start with the question, 2 bracket x minus y plus 4 bracket 3x plus y minus 2 bracket 2x minus 3y. So I like to just add in numbers if I need to. So we have 2 bracket x minus y plus 4 bracket 3x plus y minus 1 bracket 2x minus 3y. We're going to take every single number outside of the bracket and we're going to distribute it to every single number inside of the bracket. Okay, so we're going to end up getting 2 times x is 2x, 2 times -y is -2y, 4 times 3x is 12x, 4 times y is +4y, minus 1 times 2x is -2x, minus 1 times -3y is +3y. Does someone want to volunteer and tell me what it would look like if I collected all the like terms? So put all the x's together, put all the y's together. Priyanka, go ahead. Yoda. Go ahead, Priyanka. Excellent. She put all the x's together and all the y's together. So now what we're going to do to finish off the question is we're going to add all the x's and all the y's. Let's use a little bit of mental math. What is 2 plus 12? 14 take away 2? Good. So we're going to end up getting a 12x over here. Not sure why I wrote it like that. Okay, again, let's do mental math. What's -2 plus 4? +2 plus 3? +5y. So what we've done in this step is now we've simplified the question. And the way that you know something is simplified is because if you only have 1 letter of each. So the original question just had x's and y's. My simplified answer just has 1 x and 1 y. Now, once we have simplified this, we are ready to solve. So I'm just going to bring this question to the top over here. Do you guys remember when we did this in a previous unit? Good. So now we're looking at just 12x plus 5y. What am I going to replace the x with? -1. And what am I going to replace the y with? Good. Emily? Oh, yeah, I just didn't have enough space. Yeah. And then we solve this. 12 times -1 is -12. 5 times 2 is +10. And I have different signs. Subtract the numbers, take the sign of the bigger number. So our final answer would be just -2. Try to make this into a box. And that's it. So do you guys see how we're kind of putting together the skills we've been learning with distributive and collecting like terms, and we're adding and evaluating algebraic expressions with it? No question? Question number 2. So let's begin again by first simplifying this expression. And you're going to notice in this expression, we have a fraction. So what we used to do with the fractions when we were doing distributive is I try to change everything into a fraction. I think visually that just helps you guys. So I'm going to make 9 into 9 over 1 a squared minus 12 over 1b plus 6 over 1c. And for some of you, like I keep saying, you're probably like, this is unnecessary. You don't really have to do this. In that case, you don't have to do it. You can just go ahead and solve and simplify as you go along. This is just a little technique to help those of you that aren't so fond of fractions because it makes the question a little bit more friendly. Okay, now we're going to multiply the fractions. So we can cross reduce or we can just multiply. If you were to just multiply, you would say 5 times 9 is 45 and then divided by 3. Or if you want to cross reduce, you notice that 3 and 9 become 1 and 3, and you're just multiplying 5 times 3. In either case, what did you guys get when you multiplied 5 over 3 times 9? Excellent. So 15a squared. How about 5 over, oh, by the way, if you wanted to go to your rough sheet of paper, I guess I'll just show you that as well while we're on it. So you can also just get a rough sheet of paper and go 5 over 3 times negative 12 over 1, cross reduce this to 1, cross reduce this to negative 4, and you end up getting a negative 20. So I'm going to have negative 20b. And then for the next one, we have 5 over 3 times 6 over 1, cross reduce, and you end up getting a 10. So this would be plus 10c. Is this something you guys got when you did the question? If I made a mistake? Is this good? Yes, okay, great. So now we're gonna just, I'll just be consistent. I'll move over here. You don't have to separate it. So to solve this, we begin with the question that we just ended up with. And by the way, how do I know I've simplified it all the way? Well, I just have one letter A, one letter B, one letter C, no fractions or anything like that. And so we're good. Now, even if you did have fractions, it's not a big deal, but in this question, we don't. What is the value for A in this? It is a different question than the one we did previously, so just be mindful that the values have now changed. But the value for A is negative 1 squared minus 20 times, what's the value for B? A half, plus 10 times, what's the value for C? Negative 2. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. So this first term is just going to be a 15. What's negative 20 times a half? Negative, yep. And what is 10 times negative 2? Say it out loud. Negative 20. For the next part, we could just do a little bit of mental math. 15 take away 10 is 5. 5 subtract 20 is negative 15 as our final answer. For those of you that were working ahead, did you guys get this as an answer? Yeah? Okay, great. All right, last question, you guys. And the last question is a little bit more complicated one. I'm going to pause here. Go ahead and try to simplify this. Okay, so for question number 3, we're going to begin again by simplifying first. And I noticed this question has a lot of fractions, so I'm going to just rewrite it so that it's a little bit easier to understand. It is going to be a half bracket 2 over 1x minus 4 over 1y minus 6 over 1z plus 1 over 6 minus 18 over 1x plus 6 over 1y plus 24/1 z. Optional step. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. This is not working. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's still not working. There we go. Did it work? Okay, so we're going to distribute. Hello. Okay, so let's go ahead and now multiply out. What is a half times 2/1? Which is just 1x. You don't even need to write the 1. What is a half times -4/1? -2/1, which would be -2y. A half times -6/1, like that's like saying a half of 6 is just going to be -3z. So you're probably realizing that you didn't really have to make anything into a fraction. Everything changes really nicely. 1/6 times -18 is just -18/6, which would be -3x. 1/6 times +6/1 is just going to give you 1y. 1/6 times 24 is just going to give you 4z. I'm going to collect like terms. So I have 1x minus 3x minus 2y plus 1y minus 3z plus 4z. And to finish off the question, we're going to have -2x minus 1y plus 1z. Okay, I don't know what's happening with this. Give it a second. Everything erased. What did I say? -2x minus 1y plus 1z. So we've successfully simplified this question because look, we had a whole bunch of really messy fractions. We got rid of all the fractions. We had many, many terms. We have now reduced it to just 1x, 1y, 1z. So it's looking really, really good. Now we're going to go ahead and solve it because this question actually gives us a couple of values for x, y, and z. So just take a look up here. Right here. Oh no, I don't want the top right. And I'll click, there we go. Those are the values we're going to be substituting. So I'm just going to rewrite the question at the top over here. We have -2x minus 1y plus 1z. I'm now going to substitute it in. So our value for x is -1/4. Our value for y is 2/3. And our value for z is 3/4. I actually think distributing and simplifying was the easier part because now we're dealing with even more fractions. So let's try to simplify this. -2 times -1 is just 2. 2 divided by 4 will simplify to give us a half. This second term will be -2/3. And the third term will be 3/4. How can we solve this? When we have a bunch of fractions that we're adding and subtracting, Benjamin? Yeah, which is, yeah, so I'm going to multiply this by 6. No, I don't like that. How about this? Multiply this by 6 and this by 6, this by 4 and this by 4, this by 3 and this by 3. So I'm going to end up getting 6/12 minus 8/12 plus 9/12. This may bring back fond memories of fractions or horrible, terrifying, traumatic experiences of fractions. Either way, now all the denominators are the same, so we can just add the numerators. What's 6 take away 8? -2 plus 9? Good, so our final answer should be 7/12. If you tried this question, is this what you got? Excellent. Okay, great, you guys. Your homework for this section is going to be to complete handout B. There are about 5 to 8 questions with the solutions at the bottom. In fact, you're going to be doing this now for the next 15 minutes because, like I said, it's great practice for the quiz we're going to have. And we'll start our quiz at around 11 o'clock. Goodbye, recording.